Okay, this is the Dev Lady, and I'm going to show you some of my pictures of orbs, as usual. That's pretty much all I take pictures of. I'm soon going to be getting pictures, though, of people with the orbs, because I have a friend, Elizabeth, who is going to work with me, and we're going to get some pictures of people inside of orbs and holding orbs and bouncing them off our head. Anything I want to do, she's going to pose, and I'm going to get her with orbs all around her. Can't wait to see her and do that with her. Anyway, I'm going to read to you from a book, the 5th book of the Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. And I'm going to read this about this select amoeba. It's a single cell organism. And I just want you to look at these pictures of what looks like cells and photons, and I can't explain what they are. When I hear people talk about photons, they talk a lot about neutrons and all kinds of scientific talk. I can't even mimic their talk. I can't understand any of it. They say, well, is it a particle or is it a wave? And I say, well, the photons, if that's what I'm getting pictures of, they're everything. They twist and make a wave, and they make a particle. They make lots of little lines across them. Truth is, I really don't know what I'm looking at here. We're exploring, and you're exploring with me. And this that I want to read is just exciting to me. It's in a book that I've read many times, and I've read about this select amoeba, and I want you to hear it as I read it. From a select amoeba, the divine image never changes. It dominates the ideal and perfect form and passes on that perfect form unchanged to every new cell that is created in the entire form. Thus, every cell of the bodies of the entire human race not only has the perfect, but is the perfect image of supreme intelligence. Thus, we have the unassailable proof that man or humanity is the divine, supreme intelligence, which is God, the conquering Christ, God-man, the result of the complete coalition of the Trinity. Indeed, every seed has the exact image of that which it will produce. Now, let us sit quietly and look directly at this select amoeba. Get that going again. And its ability to reproduce and send forth and unerringly implant its perfect image into every cell that, through multiplication, forms not only the human form, but every tree, every blade of grass, every flower, every crystal, and every rock, as well as every grain of sand. In fact, by the close examination of crystals, all rock structure can readily be classified. It is thus with every grain of sand as well as with all the minerals. This crystallization is the foundation from which we learn their relationship to the whole and their relationship and economic value to humanity. Let us return again to the high magnification and rapid photography which is being developed. We find that the minutest seed, when its germ cell is photographed under high magnification, has the exact form of that which it will produce and bring forth unerringly, and it is giving off a wavelength or a vibratory frequency which accompanies it throughout its circle of productivity. And through its frequency of vibration, it attracts to itself the energy that is necessary for its development into maturity. And this frequency of vibration, which is the divine life essence, which accumulates or draws to itself the substance, not only gives life to the tree, the flower, and all vegetable life, as well as all minerals and metallic substance, but it is the very life of the substance. Now we are free to say that all substance has life expressing through it, and there is no change from that divine plan of perfection until man, through his thoughts, either enhances or debauches the perfection. It is also found that man is able to influence these emanations of perfection to a larger and greater productivity of presenting greater and greater thoughts of productivity and more abundant perfection. Let us return again to the amoeba or first cell. While this cell is entirely different from that of the vegetable or mineral, its rate of vibration is much greater and is not to be compared with that of the mineral or animal. It is found that its rate of vibration is the force that draws its energy or substance to itself, which causes its growth into new cells, which finally builds a human form, and the passing on to every cell created the first perfect and undeviating form of divinity. It can now definitely be seen that when humanity cooperates, and in no way through thought or expression interferes with the ideal of divinity, the human form is ideally perfect. Thus we can say that it is God body, pure and perfect. Let us see that divine energy, an intelligent principle emanating from the single cell or amoeba, which its own principle of great vibratory frequency began drawing energy to itself and then began dividing and multiplying until it came into a great focal point or form, wherein it could emanate and direct all forms, as well as put forth forms as of the image of itself. Humanity has never deviated from that perfect pattern or image. Photography shows these perfect forms, not only surrounding every form, but also other perfect forms coming forth. Where the scientists lack evidence, we have forged ahead to the complete knowing that we are that great emanating frequency. Sit quietly for a few moments with the statements, God, I am, as all are. God, I am divine intelligence. And know and then admit to yourself with all doubt removed, I am divine principle. I am divine love, and it flows through me to all the world. Then see yourself as God, and everyone you meet or see as God, and you will see that which is being accomplished in the sub-microscopic zone of life. For you will see an almost invisible drop of protoplasm that is transparent, jelly-like, capable of motion, drawing energy from the sun. It is already capable of using light of the sun to break up the carbon dioxide in the air, forcing the atoms apart, seizing the hydrogen from the water, and producing carbohydrates, thus making its own food out of one of the world's most stubborn chemical compounds. This single cell, this transparent droplet, holds within itself the germ of all life. It not only has the germ, but it has the power to distribute this life to all living things, great and small. And it also fits that creature to its environment, wherever life exists, even from the bottom of the ocean to the universe above. Time and environment have molded the form of every living thing so that it meets the infinite variety of all conditions. And as these living things develop their individuality, they sacrifice. Lost my place. Okay, it not only has a germ, but it has the power to distribute this life to all living things, great and small. And it also fits that creature to its environment, wherever life exists, even from the bottom of the ocean to the universe above. Time and environment have molded the form of every living thing so that it meets the infinite variety of all conditions. And as these living things develop their individuality, they sacrifice some of their flexibility to change and become specialized and fixed, losing the power to go back but gaining a better and greater adjustment to the conditions as they exist. The power of this droplet of protoplasm and its contents is greater than the vegetation that clothes the earth in green, greater than all of the animals that breathe the breath of life. For all life comes from it, and without it no living thing would have been or could be. You will find that all of this is absolute truth, step by step. Humanity will know, as we know, that man is the universal source of life. Man is master in the animal as well as in the vegetable and mineral kingdoms, completely endowed with supreme intelligence, in reality, the soul of all things. This divine intelligence man has never lost. He has only become shamefully unaware of this true God heritage through the setting up of his own debased thought structure. It is well at this point to stop and let go of, forget and forgive this debased thought structure, and set up a real structure as man, the supreme intelligence, the master of all things, God and man, one. An amoeba is a microscopic, highly developed living cell, composed of untold millions of atoms in orderly arrangement. Size is nothing to the infinite. The atom is as perfect as the solar system. The cell divides and forms two. The two divide and form four, and so on ad infinitum, as cells do in every living creature. Each cell contains within itself the power to produce a complete individual. The cells themselves are immortal. They form this... Oh dear. Oh my goodness. Well, I'll hold this. Fell out of my thing. I'm sorry. The cells themselves are immortal. They form the cells of all creatures, animal and vegetable, of today, and are exact replicas of their progenitors. We, as all humanity, are well-ordered replicas of billions on billions of similar cells, each cell a citizen intelligently doing its full quota of devoted service. This one cell also has the power to use sunlight to break up a chemical compound and make its own food, and enough for its brother cell. You will find that this division is absolutely basic as one of the essentials of life itself. Can it be further denied that man is immortal here when there is proof of divinity as immortality? All things that live start from a single cell, and this cell compels all of its descendants to perform this service and follow without deviation the design of the creature the original cell is to duplicate, whether it be a human, a turtle, or a rabbit. It is found that these cells have distinct intelligence, instinct as well as reasoning power, as it is well known that after division, portions of the cells are forced to change an entire nature to meet the requirements of that being of which they are a part. Why? Because the plan is set forth and is invincible to change, and that is reason that man is divine, perfect, and invincible. It does not matter what thinking structure he evolves. This plan is absolutely irresistible and can never be changed. It is first principle, dominant and compelling, and is also the very reason that man is capable and abundantly able to reach the highest. In the event that he fails to reach the highest in his immediate understandings, all that is necessary is for him to change his thought structure, which has circumvented him, to the true thought structure that is steadfastly fixed within his own mind, of which he always has an inherent instinct, and build a dominant thought structure which will allow him to reach to the highest conception to which thoughts can aspire. His easiest and most successful way of attainment to this highest goal is forever to let go of or drop the thought structure that has bound him to the wheel of repetition and set into immediate action that which will build up an invincible thought structure which will never fail in carrying him to the highest. The first suggestion is to place in his mind the thought and word God, knowing positively that it is the one point from which and where all success originates, also from which all success emanates. Then fix that thought of success with the thought, God, I am success. Then the next thought, God, I am abundantly able to succeed in every effort that I truthfully designate. Your next statement will be, God, I am the exact knowledge that goes with the ability to succeed. Your next statement will be, God, I am the infinite love that attracts all substance to me that brings forth my success. Knowing that also that love is the greatest cohesive power in the universe, your next statement will be, God, I am the divine knowledge and the wisdom that gives the perfect to all of my success. Followed with, God, I am the perfect Trinity, God the conquering Christ, God-man, the one focal point of all creation. We are now dealing with God cells which never lose or change in any way. Thus man cannot change from divinity. The brain of man is built of these God cells, and this is the very reason that mind never changes. Thoughts may change 1,000 times a minute, or they are only reflexes from the subconscious. If it is there that man has free will, for he can induce the subconscious to believe and store any thought put forth or that which he perceives or is told by another. The subconscious is no portion of the brain itself, but a ganglia of true cells located just below the heart center. These cells know neither impurity nor imperfection. They accept and store everything that is thought or spoken, and they have no way of discriminating. They also repeat that which they have. I'm having to do 2 screens at once. They also repeat that which they have stored, and man soon begins to believe what it is repeated as truth. Soon he is unable to segregate truth from falsehood. This group of cells, however, may be influenced to let go of all false statements or falsehoods and accept and register true and absolute statements simply by talking directly to them. Suggests that they let go of all false and negative qualities, thoughts, and statements, and you will soon be aware that only true and constructive statements are registered in your world, which in turn reflect to you and through you. Then will follow the awareness of a great serenity of purpose. These cells have no way of discriminating except as they are taught. You will find that they are very trackable and most willing to be led or influenced by the truth. Many people have seemed to actually bound forth in response to this application of truth. Hundreds of billions of cells are impelled to do the right thing at the right time and in the right place, and verily, they are obedient. At all times, as long as the individual is sincere. The life of man pushes forward, building, repairing, extending, and creating the new and better with an irresistible urge and energy that is not comprehended by or found in inanimate things. It is found that there is an intelligent instinct and directing influence that pervades every cell of the human form. It does not matter how far they may seem to have wandered from this divine directing influence. It is our privilege to see them in this influence without giving any thought to the outer or that which is holding them under the hypnotic spell. What a privilege it is just to see that one or all who are under the spell really endowed with that infinite complex cellular structure called the human brain. The same brain has a capacity to carry man or all humanity to the very highest of attainments. What a divine privilege it is to see all humanity combined in this great structure of God-mind. Try this. I am of the noble God-mind, and see if it opens the windows of heaven, and let it pour out such a blessing that it fills completely every avenue of expression. All those who are faithful need say, God, I am the knowing principle of all things. This opens the eye to the universal abundance that never fails. Try it, knowing positively that you must succeed. As Elijah did, hold out the cup until it is filled to running over. Never doubt the capacity of the one mind. It is always ready to bring forth these wonders as humanity aligns itself with God-mind. As such, humanity has been traced with sufficient evidence to satisfy scientists for at least 1 million years. But let us see that this period is but an established minimum, for man goes back to an antiquity far beyond all human understanding. You can readily see that you are capable of extending your vision with the inclusion of God-mind, or the one mind, to furnish all humanity with a background or build-up that is maintained true to man and divine mind, and how readily you are able to attach your thinking process to divine mind by declaring, God, I am divine mind. Then knowing definitely that your statement is true and in full accord with divine law and principle. In this way, you are fully aware that heaven is all around you. Now is the opportune time to know that all are as free to accomplish this as you are. Now realize that matter was never conceived until thought set it up as reality. Remember that matter never smiles, neither does it have any power or energy to rule or master itself. It is also devoid of instinct or volition of its own. It is foreign to all other substance. The bird actually sees its destination or migration, and thus does not need an instrument to guide it. That instrument is right within those tiny brain cells. How much greater can the same instrument guide you? For it is right within your brain cells, and mind is in direct control as soon as man knows that he is in full control of mind action. The bird, although it flies over 1,000 miles of open water, never loses its direction. Man has this same sense of seeing, but he has lost the ability by putting it out of his thought structure. Get this going again. Nothing is ever lost from divine mind. This is the very reason that it belongs to man, for man is as divine as mind. Thus, he will never deviate from truth or be at a loss to accomplish all things when he again joins with divine mind. The animal has never lost instinct and intuition for the very reason that it is incapable of building an adverse thought structure. When a dog is set upon the trail of man or beast, he is incapable of thinking, can I do this? Consequently, he goes forward and follows the trail until something happens that obliterates the scent or the goal is reached. Man is far more capable than the animals or the birds, yet he permits himself to sink lower than the animal. With the true perception of man's fully equipped makeup and his full understanding of his complete inclusion within God or divine mind, man is readily capable of moving from position to position with unbounded velocity. His brain is now fully equipped with true mind, and as he cooperates with true mind, as all-seeing and all-knowing, he scales every height instantly and perfectly. There are no wanderings. The path is clear. The evidence is revealed with certainty and sureness. You can put out your hand and feel God. Put your hand on your own form and you both see and feel God. As you may have passed 100 or 1,000 people during the day in going about your affairs, you have seen God 100 or 1,000 times. This may be repeated each day. Keep God close to you by seeing every living form as God. Then God will be so close to you that you will never again closet God in some far-off celestial realm or temple, and you will find the temple not made with hands. You will also find that your body is the first and greatest temple ever built, and that it is the only temple wherein God abides. Then see this conquering Christ and God-man within this temple. This is the very life that maintains your body. Take God away or separate one from the other, and your body would die. Man has built all of the great temples that have ever existed or do exist upon the earth, but he has never duplicated this great body temple. It is not only the greatest laboratory ever built, it also has the power of duplicating itself. Man has defiled his body temple to the utmost, even to the place where he is obliged to lay it down in so-called death. Yet it rises again, triumphant. Man, under limitation, is unable to build a human eye, but let man throw off every limitation, and he is able to build or renew an eye or any part of the human body, even to overcoming death. There is a divine intelligence and principle, but it was never set up by one being or one man. It was set up by a civilization of hundreds of millions of people. This thought was set up so dynamically that it saturated every atom of the entire universe, as well as every atom of the human body, also with a directing influence upon all things. It was also set up with such power that it became a directing force of mind action, where nothing changes. Thus it impressed its power upon every cell of the human form, and the light which denotes this divine intelligence was centered in the first cell to the extent that divinity has been passed on from generation to generation for billions of years without a change in the real divine image of each unit of humanity. It will go on unchanged for 100 billion years, as it is established as immutable law, and an established law in the cosmos is unchangeable. Law should be Lord, as there is but one law, one Lord, for all established mind action. Man is the Lord, in full control of divine law. Out of this great